What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unsolicited with Sam and Jordyn. I am Sam. This is Jordyn. And I was told I'm allowed to be mad at Jordyn today for the entire show. So I'm just going to be a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Sam does have every right to hate me right now. And I'm glad that we're at least doing the pod today. I didn't know if we were going to need a week recess.
It was a rough Monday for sure. So we'll get into it.
Yeah, we will get into it. And for those, I think you can already allude. For those that don't know, I'm an Eagles fan. Sam's a Giants fan. This free agency has kind of divided us. Not even kind of. This free agency has divided us.
Yes.
But I love you endlessly.
I love you too.
She texted me today. She was like, "You do not work in the front office. Like, stop panicking." And I'm like, I still feel bad.
No, literally, Jordyn was like, "You're allowed to hate me," and I was just like, "I don't hate you. Like, you didn't do this." If you were Howie Roseman, if this was Unsolicited with Sam and Howie, we'd be having a different story right now. But that is not the case.
Thank goodness I am safe. And we have so much to get into with NFL free agency. It has been absolutely insane since the moment the floodgates opened. But I saw one post today that I thought was so crazy funny. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I just wanted your reaction. It was essentially saying, like, imagine if we didn't get any free agency notifications, any roster moves. So you had no idea what happened at all in the offseason until week 1. And then all of a sudden it was like shuffle, especially this offseason. It's been mayhem. But I just thought that was so crazy. I guess it's not a question, but just like, I want your thoughts on it because I thought it was so crazy.
I did see that. And my first thought was just thinking about sitting there just like, all right, we're ready to see what week 1 has in store for us. And if I just saw Kirk Cousins walk out in an Atlanta Falcons jersey, I would have lost my mind. Like, I would have been like, it would just have blown me. I wouldn't have been conscious for the rest of week 1. I don't think like that. I low-key would like it.
I would too. I just think it would make it feel very Hunger Games-esque. Also, I feel like it would make it a lot more. Obviously, people's lives aren't on the line, but like the way we would all sit down to like watch and like it would be like an unveiling.
Oh my God, yes, it would be like
Russell Wilson. Yes, it would be like Russell Wilson running out in black and yellow, and everyone would be like, "What?" Like,
it's like, where's Kenny? Is Kenny okay? Is he ill?
Oh my God, no, this NFL free agency has been nuts so far. What would you say is the biggest move through today?
Through today or through all of free agency?
Like thus far.
Thus far. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. All right.
I wasn't going to be the one to bring it up.
All right. I have had a lot of emotions go through me in the last 24 hours. And the thing was, if you guys follow us on social, you saw the fun little reel that I made to cry myself and laugh through the pain that I was going through, which was me last week saying Saquon Barkley would never go to the Eagles. Like, he wouldn't do that to us because he loves us and he would have been a Giant for life and blah, 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 blah. And obviously the universe was like, you know what, Sam, you've been happy for a while. You know, the sun came out, it was nice and warm, daylight savings. I felt my seasonal depression just, floating away. And then here we are, as I no longer have Saquon Barkley on my team. But yeah, so I would say, honestly, one of the biggest moves. There have been a lot of other moves that have happened since then, but I genuinely think, and I don't think it's just us, I think everyone is talking about Saquon going to the Eagles.
And I think it's turned, I mean, he's just such a big name as is, like household name. So, and especially like to be picked up by division rival, like there's a lot to it. But the added aspect to it is all of the Tiki Barber conversations that have followed since, which have been insane. What were your thoughts on all of this?
I honestly, not that I expected it, but Tiki's always been very vocal, especially when it came to Saquon, because obviously Tiki was our star running back
Mhm.
in the early 2000s, mid to early 2000s. So like it makes sense for him to comment on it. His comments are very, I don't know how to say this in like a polite way cuz I have to say this in a polite way. Yeah, just like very out there, very,
Mhm.
and I have to say Lamar's joke to Geno Stone after he left to then quote Tiki is hilarious, and I love him for it, and I think that was, like, that should have been the way that everyone handled that situation, but Saquon obviously was just like, "Screw you and the horse you rode in on, dude, like, let me do my own thing. I just got paid the most amount of money as any free agent quarterback did in this entire free agency so far." Like, I honestly, I get why Saquon's upset. Like, I would have been. So,
Yeah.
like, it's, and but he's a radio personality now. Like, that's Tiki's job is to
Mhm.
stir the New York media up, and as much as people are like, "Can't believe you said that," like, New York media loves it. Like,
Yeah.
this is what we crave. That's what the New York Post puts on the back of their newspaper. Like, that's the way that the world works in the city. So, yeah, it's been a crazy 24 hours to be a Giants fan. Do you want my Saquon Barkley shirt? Because I don't know what to do with it. I literally sent
I'll
it.
take it.
My Michael's friend John, shout out John if you're listening, um, who's also his best man in our wedding, texted me and he just said, "Sam, he left us." And I was like, "I know, I'm physically ill." Like, I was like, "I don't know what to do." And I sent him a picture of my Saquon Barkley shirt, which is like got all these different pictures of Saquon on it. And it was like a great t-shirt. And I was like, "What do I do with this?" And he was like, "You put it in a pine box and you bury it in the backyard. Like, that's all you can do."
I saw photos of people putting Charles Barkley over it, but then it hit them like Charles Barkley is also a Philly guy. So it's like, does that just make it double? Like, are you doubling down?
Honestly, I'm more of a Charles Barkley fan than I am a Saquon fan right now.
I
I
don't blame
respect
you.
him. I respect the decision. Get your bag, dude. Forever and always, he will have had a special place in my heart. But now, while you're on the Philadelphia Eagles, I can't like you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it goes against everything in my body to root for him now.
I'm not trying to dig the nail in deeper
No, do it.
whatsoever.
No, do
I
it.
also saw reports that he turned down higher offers from other teams. But I also think he has a lot of Philly ties. Like, obviously, he went to Penn State. I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
his family still lives here. And I think they probably encouraged it as well. But yeah, I think it was Houston and I want to say Chicago offered him more money and he came to Philly
Alright.
anyway.
I don't know why I thought I saw reports that said that Philly offered him the most money.
And again, the reports I saw was like 2 or 3 tweets, so that
Right.
could easily, and there's been so much that has been tossed around the last 2 days, so that easily could have been wrong.
No, 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 I mean, I just who knows at this point, to be honest, like, very few people know what actually is going on ever. Um,
Oh my god,
but
I have been wrong, like, almost all week,
yeah.
and it's Tuesday. Like,
Well, the thing is that Jordyn likes to fall for all the fake Schefter accounts that, post
it's
stuff,
so
like,
bad.
they pay that $8 for the check mark on on Twitter, and Jordan's just like, "Did you see this? Did you see that they're sending Daniel Jones to the moon? Like, can you believe that?" And I'm like, "Jordan, just read the
I
ad. Just look at the profile for 2 seconds."
For a social media manager, it is embarrassing how awful I am at Twitter. And yeah, ever since Elon Musk has just let anyone buy a blue check mark, I'm in shambles. Because especially when like you're waiting on news and just like refreshing news, I see a report, they look all official, they use like the breaking in all capital, like they do it on, they have a full graphic made with a check. And like it happened, and it'll be like Ian Rappaport or Rappapit, like they changed one letter of the name, and I'm like this is a new one for me. I'm moving quick.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough it's tough.
It's tough.
But I have to say, like, every week, every year they call it free agency frenzy, but this has indeed been a freaking frenzy. Like I feel like I haven't slept.
No. My
Like,
phone just bing, 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 bing. And I feel like we're going to have so many moments, and we joke about this all the time on the pod, but that moment where we're like, we forgot about Danny Amendola, and then he was on the Texans, and it was week 7, and we had no idea he was ever there. I feel like we are going to have so many of those moments throughout this season because there's been so many big names, and I think that's where the emphasis has been. I mean, essentially every big name running back, for the most part, just got shuffled. Like, it's literally like they were like, you go here and you go here. 12. Like, there's 32 teams and 12 starting running backs are just flipping and flopping. It's nuts. Yeah, no, it's been pure chaos. Like, also like Austin Eckler going to the Commanders, Gus Edwards, Chargers.
No, literally, I'm trying to find there's a Schefter tweet that like listed them all off, but to bounce off of Saquon, there's 4 different guys who have gone to division rivals.
Yep.
Within free agency in the last 2 days. So Saquon went to Philly. Patrick Queen went to the Steelers today, which was
nuts.
Crazy. Like, good for them. But they just sent Deontay Johnson to Detroit.
Panthers, yeah.
Or the Panthers.
I thought it was the Panthers.
I might have just saw blue and then just thought it was.
Because I remember the notification and being like, oh, he's on his way to die.
Yeah. And then Aaron Jones went to the Vikings.
Yep.
And then Geno Stone went from the Ravens to the Bengals.
Yep.
So guys are just popping in and out of their division here, which is just bananas. But yeah, 12 running backs. Like, talk about a market. Oh, but Derrick Henry to the Ravens is my favorite one, I think, so far. Like,
it's stunning. Definitely not my favorite one, but I think it's so hot. And I love it. And I literally, because I posted a TikTok today making fun of Dallas because every team in the NFL is making crazy, crazy moves, going above and beyond. And Dallas is letting people go left and right. And they're just sitting there. It's like Jerry Jones is like, oh, I thought we had the day off today. It's like, no, you didn't.
No, it's like, oh, Deuce Vaughn is going to be your RB1. Cool.
I'm pretty sure he's the same height as me. Like, I think he's like this big.
I was going to say, we could probably like, if we like kind of like stood up straight, we're probably just a little bit taller than him, if not the same size.
Oh my God, I'll throw on my platform Converse and I will be Deuce Vaughn. But no, I think it's hysterical. And I almost made a TikTok about them yesterday, like making fun of the fact that like they are doing nothing. And I was like, I'm going to hold off. Derrick Henry's still available and I do not want to jinx anything. So I waited. I was sitting at my desk and I got a notification, like the most daunting notification. Derrick Henry has a new team. And I was like, that's the notification. So I click on it. I'm waiting for it to load. And I was like, don't be Dallas, don't be Dallas, don't be Dallas, don't be Dallas. And then I saw purple. And I was like, it's like the gates of heavens opened up. And I was like, ha ha ha.
Yeah. No, it was that is probably my favorite move. Honestly, it's like they gained Derrick Henry, but losing Patrick Queen. Like, I don't know why Patrick Queen going to the Steelers to me is like, I'm like so entranced by it.
No, it's huge. And I don't know why. I was under the impression that he was older than he actually, like, I didn't realize how young he is. He drafted in 2020. I was like,
I thought he was a lot older too.
Right? I feel like it's just because he's been like solid. So like, I don't know. He just has that. And I guess he is a veteran now, but still on the younger side. But yet, no, I couldn't remember what pick the Eagles had when we took Jalen Reagor. And so I looked it up and then I saw a couple picks later was Queen. And I was like, the fuck? I was like, I would have said like 2018 he was drafted, 2020.
Yeah. Crazy. Just crazy. I guess we should also talk about, obviously, the quarterbacks here, which were some of the biggest names.
Yep.
We mentioned Kirk going to Atlanta earlier, which was another thing last week that I said I didn't like, but it happened anyway. I think, you know what? Owners probably were just like, let's watch Unsolicited this week and see what Sam says, and let's just do the opposite of whatever she says. And then what started us all off Sunday night was Russ heading off to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Steelers Nation, let's ride. It's
let's weld.
Let's weld. Oh my God. I did text my brother, who is a Steelers fan. He said he doesn't hate it.
I honestly think it's an amazing move for them. Just with the fact that it's a 1-year deal and they're literally paying him $1.2 million.
No,
If
he's
it
deal.
doesn't work out, they have Kenny Pickett. And if it does work out, then they look brilliant. Like there's really no harm, no foul here.
Yeah, honestly, like could be worse.
It could
Could
be
be
a
worse.
lot worse.
Um,
You could be the Commanders who picked up Marcus Mariota.
yeah, that was an interesting one because obviously Sam Howell is there and they have the second pick.
I
So
think
it's
that it's probably just depth. Marcus Mariota, with the way he played with the Eagles last year, I think QB3 makes perfect sense.
I
But
mean,
I
yeah.
honestly think the Commanders are going to end up with Drake May. He'll be their starting quarterback. Sam Howell's a backup, and I don't know what they do with Mariota eventually.
I keep seeing so many different mock drafts that go in so many different directions. Like I was convinced I was like Drake May's going to be a commander, like no problem. And then like recently I've been seeing a lot of Jaden Daniels and I'm like, "Huh, interesting.
That is
Interesting."
interesting.
I've seen a lot of mock drafts not getting the Giants a quarterback, which I kind of like. Which, speaking of quarterbacks, Drew
Sam.
Lock is a giant, baby.
Sam literally texted me, Drew Lock is a giant, and I responded, that checks.
Yeah.
Like that just makes so much sense.
Crazy. So I was in the office today, like with my coworkers, and my boss is a Giants fan, and he sits right behind me, and we were just like, everybody was just like chit chatting, like having a nice day or whatever, and I'm all day just scrolling on Twitter. That was like everything I did today, and I literally just like whipped around and looked at him, and I went, "Drew Lock is a giant," and his eyes just got wide. He was like, "Okay," and I was like, "I don't know what to do."
No,
And then
it's
I
so
was like,
random.
"Where's the video? I need to see the video of him rapping on the sidelines." And then it was like immediate. It showed up on the timeline.
Also super random. Gardner Minshew is a Raider. Like, there's just been so much.
Don't know why I feel like it fits.
It low-key Gardner Minshew in Las Vegas. Like,
As someone who was just in Vegas and seeing the filth of that city, like that is, I'm pretty sure like that was the soil that created Gardner Minshew. Like it wasn't Mississippi, it wasn't Jacksonville, it was Las Vegas soil. And I would not be surprised if it's Gardner Minshew who like throws a wrench in the Chiefs season next year and like gets them a loss or something. Like I would just love to see that.
oh no, I just got an ESPN notification. Oh no.
Oh,
Maxie's back. Not an oh no, but there's no NFL news. I low-key, I think it works. And I also, if Gardner Minshew ever one day meets a lovely lady that he wants to get married to, I can so see him dressing up as Elvis and them just eloping in Vegas. Like it
love.
checks.
I love that. I love that so much actually. And
Yep.
now I will just need that to happen. Um that is phenom. I love that. I'm like scrolling through like
There's
all
so
of
much.
the
I
different
mean, literally, it's 7:57 on Tuesday, March 12th.
Mhm.
Moments before this podcast, I was actually a couple minutes late hopping on because the Eagles brought back CJ Gardner-Johnson, which is a move I am very, very pleased with. It does feel very much like getting back with the toxic ex. Like you guys broke up, said awful, awful things about each other, took time apart, realized you actually belong together, and now you have to have like the walk of shame in front of your friends and family and be like, I know how it looks, but I think it's gonna work. Like
If you think so.
I do. We signed him for 3 years.
Holy shit.
I
Okay.
know. Which is the
Sure.
deal I wanted him to get initially, but it's fine.
Okay.
It took a year and we're
Where
back.
was he?
Detroit.
Detroit? Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
And
Well,
remember when he left the Eagles and then he talked all that shit on Philly?
I do.
So
I'm not not even when not just because he's an Eagle. Like I just genuinely I don't think I like CJ Gardner Johnson.
see, I feel like he's one of those guys that if he was on, like if he had his attitude on another team, I would probably hate him. But because he had that attitude in Philly, like he had such good energy while he was here. And it like fit us, like that gritty, aggressive, a little cocky. But then he left us and I was like, I don't like this anymore. Like where, huh? And now he's back. And I'm like, I love you.
Wait, I missed this. Jeremy Chin is a Commander. Didn't see that one.
What the heck?
But to talk about good things about the Giants, we got Brian Burns.
You did.
Which is huge.
Yes.
Like that, seeing that, I think I didn't have a chance to really like appreciate that when it happened, because it happened fairly quickly after I was still mourning Saquon leaving. And I like after like a sleep, like one night sleep, like waking up this morning, I was like, damn, we got Kayvon, we got Brian Burns, we got Dexter Lawrence, like, and we just signed Mills, and we just signed
former Eagle, Green Goblin.
Is he really?
He won the Super Bowl with us, yeah.
Well,
I loved him. I was distraught when he left, actually.
Like I'm like, damn, like we're working on this defense, and like, sure, we got Devin Singletary. Very cool. He was a Bill. I liked him when he was on the Bills. He was on my fantasy team at one point. Honestly, people did side by sides of comparing stats. Like, he's really not that far behind Saquon. Just people aren't appreciating Devin Singletary. It's probably just because he's on my team now. I'm just trying to find the good in it.
I feel ya.
The defense is gonna be sick, and of course, incredibly toxic Giants fans on Twitter did post a lot of squashing Saquon Barkley when we play him now with this entire giant defensive line that we have now. So, and I just don't know how to feel about it yet. I'm like, yes, but no.
If it makes you feel better, Eagles fans are feeling the same way, just reverse.
Yeah, you're like, how do I support this man?
Yeah, because like when Tiki Barber started going at him, all these Eagles fans were like, yo, like back up. But then we're like, it feels strange to be like, we've been against him for how long? 5 years, 6 years?
5 years, 2018.
Like, it's definitely an adjustment. But I'm just glad. I remember like when T.O. went to Dallas, and that was like
that was
probably,
a big one.
I imagine exactly how you're feeling right now, like that disgust. But I like that I'm so sorry. I like that it's happening in the reverse. Like
again, fair.
And in my defense, and Sam knows this, I genuinely wanted the Eagles to sign Swift.
Yes, I know that you were very much Team Swift.
Yes, like I wanted that. I thought, I mean, Howie doesn't normally sign running backs at all. So one, I didn't think it was actually going to happen. Two, I do have concerns about Saquon's like injury proneness, and we don't really have an RB2. So like if he does go down, it's like, then we're in danger. We signed him for a long period of time. He's a little bit older. He's already had some injuries. So there were concerns for me, and they're still very much there. However, it's like at the end of the day, obviously every single person wants their team to like do well, and you're going to root for your teams. Now that he's here, I am fully caught up in the hype. He has my full, like, Sam, I will take care of him. I will love him. And I'm a ride or die for my Eagles. So yeah, I'm riding and dying.
That's the thing. It's like Jordyn and I have this very mutual understanding of each other. Like, people I think would love to see us go at it and like hate each other, but like that's just not in our blood. And it's always been like that since the beginning, even like when we barely knew each other. Like, we were always so respectful to each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, at the end of the day, it's a game. It has nothing to do with us. Like, genuinely.
I also think it helps the fact that like we work in sports, so we cover so much. And like, obviously, I mean, my content has kind of leaned a lot more Philly based in recent years, but like we both kind of have this, like, we have our teams, but we have this unbiased understanding of like the league, which I think helps us be a little bit more balanced. But yeah, no, we've always been, Sam got me an Eagles plaque for my thing. Like, she looks out for me.
Which I found in the Staten Island TJ Maxx.
That's actually insane.
Like, what's it doing there? That's why I bought it. I was like, I gotta get this shit off the shelf. I was like, no wonder it's still here. Nobody's buying it.
Yeah. Wait, that's actually so funny.
She used it for so many TikToks too. I remember when you first got it, and I think when they traded Carson Wentz, right? And you were like chucking it around the place, and I was like, that's why I bought it. So
Yeah.
Jordyn had a way of releasing her emotions by throwing a block.
That's when I was in my burn Howie Roseman's house down era.
And
now I would legitimately throw myself in front of a bus for him. I would light myself on fire if he asked me to.
Oh my goodness.
Maturity.
As I'm just scrolling through Twitter, just seeing if there was any other major things that happened. This is going to be somebody that's going to be like our next Danny Amendola. We're going to see Mike Gesicki walk out as a Cincinnati Bengal next year, and we're going to be like, Mike Gesicki's still in the league?
He spent what, 1 or 2 years in New England? If someone asked me to this day where he played, I'd be like, Miami.
No, always. Actually, I didn't even know he was in New England until when I saw that he signed with the Bengals. I was like, the Patriots?
I think he's been there for 2 seasons.
Has he really?
But the Patriots put up, what, 4 points combined in the last 2 years? So
we didn't
not
even
shocking.
Talk about,
you wouldn't know.
We didn't even talk about Mac Jones going to pack up our boy Trev in Jacksonville.
That was
bananas.
And of course, I feel like the 2 biggest deals, because he got traded, right?
Yes, that was a trade.
And then Russell Wilson signed.
Correct.
But they were the 2 biggest initial things to happen. And I remember seeing the Mac Jones, the first post I saw was him in a Jaguars jersey. The edit was already done. And I was like, I beg your biggest pardon. What the fuck is going on right now?
I remember seeing that too. And I was just like, I don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do with this information other than just text Jordyn? I was like, I feel like I need to do something about this. And there's nothing to do. But I was just like, why? Bailey Zappi is your starting quarterback? What is going on right now? But they're quick with those uniform edits. I literally, when they post, they were like, Aaron Jones is a Viking and he's already in the purple. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that so quickly? How did you know?
And I hate to keep bringing this back up. However, the first edit that I saw of Saquon in Eagles gear honestly freaked me out. I was like, this feels illegal.
Let me tell you, honestly, I was starting to heal by the end of the night. What hurt me was opening Instagram and seeing Saquon post the video of him. And it started at his feet, and it was a pan up to him, and he has his white and his red and his blue, and it glitches, and he turns to green. And I literally I literally opened Instagram, and I just shut it, and I just put my phone away. I was like, I can't do this. Do you know how many Eagles fans messaged me on Instagram?
Were they being nice?
Yeah, people we know.
Okay, good.
Like our GMFB friends and stuff
love,
that. Messaging me, some other people that I met out in Vegas who are Eagles fans, everyone messaged me. And I was like, now it's not the time. Can you give me till Wednesday? I need at least 2 business days to process before I say something that I regret. And I tried to make funny TikToks, which actually did pretty well, and just because I was like, this is how I need to cope with my emotions right now. But I'm gonna need you guys to not message me every second because I'm overwhelmed. I did not even realize how many Eagles fans I knew until yesterday.
No, literally, how I found out, I was in a meeting and it was wrapping up, because I think the news broke at it must have been either 2:50 or 3:50. I can't remember, but right at the end of an hour. And my phone was spaced down during the meeting and we were kind of wrapping everything up. So I flipped it over just to check, and I saw texts from everyone. I saw Sam texted me it's happening. And I just knew, and I was like, oh my God. And I literally turned my phone back over. It was a meeting of 3. So the other 2 stopped talking. And I was like, I hate to interject right now. But the Eagles just got Saquon Barkley.
Honestly, fair.
Yeah, and they were like, shut up. Everyone got so excited. And then I was like, I do have to excuse myself.
Philly, right?
Yes. So it's all Eagles fans, like
Yeah.
essentially everyone except you'll laugh at this. When DeAndre went to Chicago, one of the guys, one of our sales guys is a huge Chicago Bears fan, and we always talk football together.
Oh
And he
God.
was literally sitting with my CEO. And I'm walking out to go film my DeAndre Swift TikTok, and I didn't even care. I pointed at him dead in the face, and I said, "You are public enemy number one." And I just left. And everyone was like,
Oh no.
"Let her be."
Sporty's on the loose.
Yeah. They were like, "You came in hot." I was like, I was heated.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at our text messages. I sent you a text at 2 p.m. said, "It's been 30 minutes since a signing. I'm convulsing." Then at 2:34 p.m. I said, "It's happening." And then at 2:44, that was at 2:34 to 2:44, I sent her this picture of me. And then she was in her meeting, so she answered me a few minutes later. And she said, "Sam, are you okay?" And I said, "I'm not gonna lie to you, Jordyn. I'm physically ill and incredibly sad. Please take care of him." I was like, that's all I care about. I just don't want him to die in Philadelphia.
Hey, bright side. We
Yeah,
have a very strong O-line, and we don't play on turf.
you do. You do, which is all A plus.
I'm hoping I got yelled at today for saying that I hope, and I'm probably going to get yelled at again, but I got yelled at for saying that Saquon coming to Philadelphia gives me Christian McCaffrey vibes going to the 49ers. Because in Carolina, he was hurt all the time. Like their whole team was based around Christian McCaffrey. So now I'm hoping that because we have so many offensive weapons, we have an O-line that maybe because our whole burden won't be on Saquon, that it'll help his longevity.
I hate when you're right. I despise it. You know what we need to talk about before we move on? One last NFL topic. Let's talk about the fact that Aaron Rodgers is trying to run for office. Robert F. Kennedy, who is in the Independent Party, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I have to check that.
No, I saw that too.
Asked Aaron Rodgers to be his vice president on the ballot, and Aaron Rodgers is considering it.
I have to ask the dumbest question of all time.
Yes.
Can he be starting quarterback of the New York Jets and vice president?
Probably legally, yes, but there's no way you can.
Like,
there's no physical way that you can do both.
Like, so what happens?
I don't know. I'm still processing this information. We just learned about this like 3 hours ago. I sent the text to my dad and I was like, I just sent him the screenshot of like the thing. And he was just like, "Good, leave football and go do that. I'm not going to vote for you, but go do that." And I said, "Dad, I don't think I can live in a world where Aaron Rodgers is in charge of anything legally."
No.
Like,
and everyone on this podcast knows that we love Aaron Rodgers.
It's a troubled relationship at this point.
I am hanging on by such a thin thread. Like, I'm doing.
It's a hair.
Yeah.
It's like half of a hair strand at this point.
Clinging to the mustache that was once there. I have no words. I'm very, very interested to see how this develops. I need to do research into it's Robert F. Kennedy.
Correct.
I need to do research into his policies.
I don't know if you saw, but he had a Super Bowl commercial. He was the one political commercial that happened during the Super Bowl. Yes, it was a campaign. Like it was like an oldish kind of vibe because he was trying to pull from JFK times so that people know that he's a Kennedy. And
as if the F Kennedy won't do it.
Right. It's like we are not a political show. Like we really don't bring that up here because it's just there's no winning ever with politics. It doesn't even matter if you have the same politics.
Yeah.
But I literally was just like, what the hell is this man doing? Like, how much money do you have that you were able to post a campaign commercial during the
He's a Kennedy.
Yeah. I'm trying to read.
I'm baffled by this news. I hope he I hope he doesn't. I've been eagerly waiting to see this man play a football game. So if all of a
Right?
sudden we went through all of that and he's just like, fuck it, I'm running for office, I will not know what to do with myself.
Here's where it makes all the sense. I just typed in Robert F. Kennedy into Google,
Oh
and you
no.
know how you get the little about on the, like, the right side of the page,
Oh no.
which is like the blurb from Wikipedia. And again, this is not a political podcast. I'm just going to state the facts that are written here. Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. is an American politician, environmental lawyer, and activist who promotes anti-vaccine misinformation and public health conspiracy theories. So, which is exactly, again,
What
just fact what Aaron Rodgers does, which is why I'm sure he reached out to him.
Yeah. And also probably because like if he does get Aaron Rodgers, I think it gives him obviously I don't want to get political, but just in the United States in general, independent parties don't normally succeed in larger elections. But I think if he was going to have a chance and like give him more of a push, in his mind, having like a football public figure may help. But God bless us all.
Honestly, the one good thing that could come out of this is Aaron Rodgers, like, abolishing the two-party system and, like, in and bringing in this, like, third independent party for people to actually vote for. It's like, it is no longer Trump v. Biden. It is Trump v. Biden v. Aaron
Randy
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Oh my god. What a world we live in.
What a world. You know what? Not Aaron Rodgers as vice president, not on my 2024 bingo card.
No.
But you know, crazier things have happened. So
You know, you're right. You're right. I think it's time to move on from NFL and reach out to our book talk girlies who
yes, and we
I'm
probably missed.
seeing.
Yes, we are loving the book
You
talk.
guys are showing up. Hello to all the new people watching for book talk.
Yeah,
This is so exciting.
I love this.
All right.
Where's the book?
The book is here. I'm halfway through it. I am on page 355. This is delightful. I'm very much enjoying this, and it fits our color scheme very well.
I was gonna say that when you pulled it up. I was like, this is perfect.
I also obviously we've been like it's like Akotar, and then it's like Akomath, which I keep saying in my brain, Mist and Fury. This is War, which is crazy.
Yes.
Did she do that on purpose? Like,
maybe.
Okay. I didn't know if that was like a well-known thing.
I mean, I'm sure it is. Someone actually commented on the video and said Jordyn has a very good poker face.
I saw that, and you
because-
did.
Thank you.
I
Because
was watching that back.
Thank you. I was really, and it was killing me on the inside. But yeah, so for those who may be new, I've already finished the series, and Sam is about literally halfway through it, almost like exactly. So I'm living for her updates throughout, but I want her to have the experience I had. I knew not a single thing. I didn't know the plot. Obviously, I knew it was fantasy. I didn't know the plot. I didn't know the characters. I had no idea what was coming. So I want Sam to have like the most exact experience because it was absolutely unreal.
Which I have been.
Good.
I would like to say, like,
Good.
I don't know anything that's happening in any of these books. So I guess I'll let you know where I'm at.
Yes,
right?
please.
Okay. Wait. I was reading this on the bus, and then I had to stop reading because I started to feel ill.
That always
okay.
happens.
Oh, they just showed up at the summer court because Hybern is attacking. So what we know thus far, spoilers!
Spoilers!
In case you guys didn't know, Book Talk always contains spoilers no matter what.
Yes.
But we will just throw that out in the beginning before I keep going. We just found out that Elaine is a seer, which I kind of had a feeling when she was just like saying mumbo jumbo, and I was just like, she's saying this for a reason. And like everyone's been focusing on Nesta, which we have discovered is kind of like death, which is fucking crazy and I love because it very much encapsulates her character as a whole. But I was like, why are we focusing on Nesta when like we have Elaine too? Like she came out of the cauldron too. Something's got to be going on with her, which is why she's like all quiet and weird and mysterious. And then when she was like saying all those random things and Nesta and Feyre go down to the library to start looking about figuring out things with the wall. And we obviously have this like random pit of like darkness that something is living down and that they don't bother and it doesn't bother them, I guess, unless you go down there. And Highburn people show up and they're what?
I remember that part.
Oh, I was reading that this morning on the bus. And I was like literally like, thank God it was like half an empty bus and the man next to me was sleeping and I was literally like I was like, "Oh my God." Like it was bananas. But yeah, so they're like looking for them and they go down to this pit and then like they can't figure out what's going on. Also, the bone carver is back in the mix. They went to the bone carver to like ask him if he would fight in this war that they're figuring out with Highburn, and he asked for a mirror from the Court of Nightmares, and they can't get the mirror unless they look in the mirror, which could be very, 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 very bad. But now this thing, whatever it is, I don't know what it is yet. I'm guessing we find out at some point what it is, but whatever's down there wants company. And I'm like, are we going to bring the bone carver out and put it down there? Or are we going to find something else? Is Feyre going down there? She's got a freaking new tattoo now because she made a bargain with it. Like, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm happy to be here. And the spice has been real and I've been loving it.
Spice is real.
There's so much more and I'm just like, can't even put into words what else is going on in this book because there's so much.
Do you have this? Because while I was reading that one, I was like, this is my favorite book. This is my favorite book. Because it felt like everything and up to where, like, it just felt like everything was finally like clicking and it was like moving and grooving. It was like one thing after another after another. So I loved it. Back in my reflection, once I finished the series, I realized Mist and Fury is 100% my favorite. Just, it was like the evolution of everything. And like you watched like them fall in love and like all the fun shit. So I loved it. But this book is fucking nuts.
No, this is, it's much more intense because there's a lot more like war and politics going on, which is very interesting. I'm still loving this book, but I do think at the end of this, A Court of Mist and Fury will be my favorite just because of the slow flirtatious burn that was Feyre and Rhys. I guess we also, if I'm going back towards the beginning of this book, because this is the first time we're talking about this, right?
Wings of Ruin?
Yes.
Okay. I believe so. I think the last time you were like just starting.
I had just started.
Yeah.
So obviously she fucked over Tamlin, which I was so stoked for. And her and Lucien go on this like whole journey, which I was kind of expecting because I think last week I did mention that like I think Lucian's gonna be like in the mix somehow because he's Elaine's mate and like, you know, all this stuff. But the leading up to it, like everything that she was doing, the seeds she was planting, I was just like, you are so devilish, Feyre, and I love it. And I love that you're doing it to fucking Tampon because I fucking hate him. He's the worst. But like Lucien is on this resurgence arc right now because he also just left before they went to the summer court. He just left to go like figure stuff out with the wall and like go, oh no, he went to go find the missing queen. The queen that's ill, but not ill. She's like I don't know, like a phoenix or something. I don't really know what's going on there, but she's like a fiery bird and also a woman. Again, I'm like trying to remember everything that I've read in the last week.
No, you don't understand. Last week when you were like, I think Lucian's gonna like redeem himself and everything, I was sitting here like,
Yeah. It's like every time I try to predict something, I'm like not even looking at Jordyn. I have to
Was
like
the
look like
part
past her.
were they again, spoilers. I mean, I guess we're already in it, but when they like escaped the spring court,
Yeah.
I was like, and then Eth, whatever her name is.
Ianthe is how you pronounce it. Fuck her. She's the
Fuck
fucking
her.
worst. When she showed
is
up
the
again.
woat.
The what?
The woat, the worst of all time.
Oh, I was like, are you forgetting the R and the S in that word? Like, what are you saying?
Woat.
Woat. She is the woat. When she showed up, and the fact that you find out that she did in fact have sex with Lucian, and it was like not like he did not consent to it. He did it because it was like his duty. Was like he was like so unhappy about it. And I was like, God, this motherfucker. And then when she's still in the spring court, she's still in the spring court, still putting up this facade, and they're having like some sort of ritual. And Ianthe like starts doing something, and she thinks she's gonna be like the center of attention. And she's like, blessings, prayers, and then Feyre like starts glowing, and she's like struck, like, how dare Feyre like have this moment? And Feyre's just like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just fucking special, and you're not. Fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna slam your ham with a fucking boulder and make you do it. And I hate her. And I can't wait till she dies. Because I hope she dies. That's me speaking it into existence.
And this is me with my poker face.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, again, I try not to even like look at Jordyn during this segment because I don't even want to like see even like if she's just like looking at me and she just does like a quick like eye twitch or something, and I'm just like, I can't even. I just have to like look past her, like not even.
I'm not even here.
Yeah, no, I'm talking to myself actually.
Yes. Yes.
But yes, I'm so far. This is incredibly, incredibly good. I also like Mist and Fury. I enjoyed because of the flirtatiousness between Feyre and Rhys and like their relationship, and then how it eventually became them being mates, so on and so forth. There is a much deeper bond in this book that I'm appreciative of. Like, you can tell how much they both love each other, and they both do things for the other person. Like, when the Raven people from Highburn are like down there and they get like basically almost killed, and then Rhys like goes in and like rage kills them basically, and his hands are like covered in blood. Like, she brings him and she washes his hands, which is a very symbolic. I went to a very like highly literature high school, so like when I read, it's like I look for like all stuff like that. The idea of like washing someone's hands is like so symbolic. It's insane. But then he also does stuff with her because she's learning how to fly. That's the other thing. She's learned how to read. Now she's fucking learning how to fly. And like she's so sore from like using all these muscles she's never used in her life. And he like runs her a bath, and like, yes, sometimes they get a little like ooh, little intimate and have their little fun time. But like there is sometimes where it's just like they just do it out of love. And I'm like, that is so wonderful. And I understand that this man was written by a woman, but it's like, what a perfect man.
Yeah.
So perfect. And so hot.
He is the epitome of a man written by a woman.
Literally. And like he is a man.
Written.
Batman. Bat boy.
As the most powerful High Lord that's ever lived.
Yes. Written by a woman.
Written by a woman.
I've actually started like looking at stuff on Etsy that is like merchandise, and I found the most gorgeous t-shirts. That's
you
like,
sent me one.
Yes.
The Bat Boys?
Oh my god. I was like, I'm gonna wait to buy anything until after I'm finished with the books. But I also sent it to Kat, and she's like, I feel like she may or may not consider getting it for me as like a gift. So maybe I won't buy anything. But nonetheless, the merchandise that I've been seeing is chef's kiss.
Oh my god. No. I need everything. And now I can't wait till you're done. And I think I said this last week, but so I can fully send you all the TikToks that I want to send you once you know everything.
It is so hard to scroll past them.
I know.
And, like, sometimes I will see, like, ones that I know for a fact, like, it won't spoil anything, but then at the same time, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have watched that." But, like, it didn't spoil anything for me, but I'm like, "What if it did?" Like, what if I just,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like, but they're so funny.
They're so
They're so
fucking
clever.
funny. But when you're done, you can do what I did because I scrolled past so many. Because like I feel like I would like if girls even like were like talking about it, I would like it. So I guess all the ones about it started coming up on my For You page, and I would scroll past like all the memes and the joking ones. And then when I finished, I literally searched just like A Court of Thorns and Roses, and they all came up, and I was just scrolling and giggling. And Brian even called me out. He was like, I haven't heard you like laugh at your phone this much in so long. I was like, I feel so seen. Like I get all of these inside jokes. Like they're just spot on.
The one that you sent me, that it was like a small description of the first book, and it was like an illiterate girl fights a giant worm, and I was like, "That's the plot of the book."
That is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like
Literally that entire book. Like, you don't like everything else that happens before that doesn't even matter.
no.
It's nothing. Illiterate girl who fights a giant worm.
Yep.
But yeah, that's I'm very excited to know everything and be able to have like a full conversation. Like the day that like we have our book talk where we sit down and I've finished Silver Flames, right?
Yes.
I feel like we might just have to have an entire episode dedicated to like going over the entire series as a whole, because it's gonna be a lot.
I could not love that idea more if I tried. And I have to pick up my reading because I do want to get to the Throne of Glass series. However, I'm still stuck on that book, The Perfect Marriage.
You're still reading that?
I could not hate this book more if I tried. However, I hate do not finishing more. Like I need to at least know how it wraps up. Like the fact that I just like wasted all this time, but this weekend, like by the end of this week, it's going to be done. But it is just so bad, and I do not recommend it to anyone.
See, I'm the opposite. If I don't like a book, I'm just like, yeet.
I know. I wish I could be. I don't know why I get like a weird sense of guilt.
I
Like,
never finished that Stephen King book. I bought that book, the fairy tale.
oh, and it's so funny. It gets recommended to me all the time, but Stephen King is really, really tough. Maybe now that you're in the fantasy realm. No, okay.
I have tried to read so many Stephen King books. I've only ever finished one, and it was The Body.
Okay.
And that's because it was this big.
Yep.
And I forced myself to finish it because it was so thin. And I was
See?
like, I really don't care about this. I never finished, and I know this will upset a lot of people. I never finished 11/22/63. I never finished Fairy Tale. I finished The Body. I did read his memoir in high school, but I don't even know if I barely finished. I might have not even barely finished that. It's like it's just not my style of writing that I enjoy reading. It's
Yeah.
very difficult for me to get through, and I'm not also a horror person, as much as you are. Like, that's really not my forte. But yeah, Stephen King's not on my list.
No, and whenever people say, like, obviously I see both sides. Like, I understand he's one of the greatest authors that ever lived. He's personally like my favorite, but I fully understand why, like, he is hard to get into. And there are sometimes I'm reading and I love him more than anything. I'm like, pick it up. Like, I don't need to know the time and second that this sub character was born. Like,
Exactly. That's where he loses me.
yes, he goes into so much detail, and I 100% understand, like, that's where he loses people, because also his books are this big, and it's this much detail and then plot. Like,
Yeah.
and like I read it, and that book was one of the greatest books I've ever read in my entire life, but it was also a 3-month experience because it was 1,100 pages that just went back and forth between past and future. But I will say it's making me really sad. I haven't read Stephen King since I moved into my apartment because he's the only author that gives me nightmares. And now I'm here alone majority of the time. And I'm like, when I was living with my mommy and she was in the next room reading Stephen King and going to bed. If I was a little freaked out, no big deal. Now it's like I'm backed up to woods. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to
God.
do that to myself.
I could not do that with where you live and the fact
No.
that, like, the
Yeah,
woods
you
are
know,
right
like,
there.
right? And
Like,
you
I would
know
be so convinced something would come out of there.
exactly. And when I'm not kidding, Stephen King's books give me the heebie. He's so good at horror. He gets it. He knows how to tap in to like your primal fears. I do eat it up, but
But you like that. Like,
I
that's, like,
love
your
it.
genre. Like, you love that horror.
I do. That's why I really think I loved Wings and Ruin is not horror by any stretch of the imagination, but it is the most war based and like
Yes.
the most action. And I really I that's just my vibe.
Yeah. No, this book is, like, I've never really read a book like this before, like, with as much politics and war in it, but it's like I understand
Mhm.
the politics behind the war, so it's like it's a little bit more interesting. It's like but, like, other things, I just, like I don't know, I don't get that same vibe with, like, other types of books, but these characters are just so well written. I think that's part of it. It's like them explaining it. Like, I'll sit there and listen to Asriel talk for 3 pages about the 2 Draken and Miriam or whoever they are
Yep.
and wherever, and, like, that whole story. I just read that story this morning too with the I forget her name, Nefel, who, like, carries Miriam, like, while she's dying. It's like a whole thing, and I was like, normally this is where I'd get lost, but, like, I just I need to know what happens next in these books, so I just keep pushing through it.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. And I can't wait to read more. And I know I'm like torturing myself. I'm like, I could just start Throne of Glass right now,
You
but I have
should.
a list. I know, but I have a list. I want to stick to it.
Sorry, my computer's about to die. I'm grabbing my
No, you're totally okay. I will use this time as a gorgeous, it's not a gorgeous segue, but I'm going to make it a segue. You know what? Speaking of horror,
Yeah,
let's talk about the royal family. That's
I
a
love
segue.
that. What a
Um,
segue that is.
Thank you. Where the fuck is Kate Middleton?
Have you seen, like, the
The
videos,
Photoshop?
like, explaining the photoshops? I wait, okay, for our visual listeners, let's grab this freaking picture because it's I cannot even wrap my brain around what's going on right now. I had a whole conversation at work today about this as well. And we came on like onto a new conspiracy between us that it's very possible that she's having cosmetic surgery done and that they don't want anyone to see her w- with this cosmetic surgery. Some people are talking about tummy tucks, like, and because she had abdominal surgery. I
Mhm.
don't know, but again, like, you don't need. We haven't seen her since Christmas. You don't. I don't think you need 4 months to freaking heal from that.
I know. I thought like maybe I know it's like a tough procedure because it's in a tricky spot, but I always thought a couple weeks, not 4 months. And also if there it doesn't make sense because it's not like she got like a nose job and her entire face is reconstructed. Like and she dresses very modestly. I mean, she's a royal lady. She's princess still, right?
Is
Queen?
she was a
I know someone just died.
duchess? She was a duchess, I think. Is she a princess now? I don't really know how the monarchy works.
I don't either. But like why hide her? And also like you see all of these stories starting, like just post a picture, like a normal picture of her. Like just get everyone the peace of mind, get everyone off your back.
Well, that's the thing. It's like these conspiracies could be easily avoided with a public outing of any kind, of you just walking out to grab your mail, like
Yep.
anything. And yet, that's why everybody is like, so sorry, this is taking me so long to grab
No,
this
it's
because
okay.
it was not saving to the correct spot. But this is the photo. And there's I know you can't see my mouse. I'm like using my mouse to like circle things. But on Charlotte's sweater is like, again, you'd have to like zoom in real deep, but like there's like some things going on there. I don't know what the child on the left is named. I know that's George, right? George and Charlotte, and then I don't know who this other one is. What are their names?
I have no idea.
Anyway, his fingers are like this.
Yes.
I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing there.
This looks like an AI generated photo.
Right, somebody said it was like ChatGPT, and
Yes.
I was like, yeah, basically. But if you zoomed in even more, you can see the line like across Kate's chest where like they basically took a picture of her and put it on top of this photo, which whatever the heck is going on there. I don't know. It's very bizarre. It's incredibly bizarre. The palace, I mean, the crown riders are just sitting there just it writes itself.
Yes.
It really does. I've never watched The Crown. I've always wanted to.
I know. I like really want to get into it because I love shows like that. And especially that one.
Right. And it's like this is like actually now also things that like we are living through.
Yeah.
And like between Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, like all that stuff, it's like I don't know. This is just it's very bizarre. The picture of her in the car that's like super blurry and very obviously not her with like the sunglasses on.
Mhm.
Like every other car picture they have of any royal is like pristine clear. Why does this one look like it was taken 1,000 yards away?
Yep. It's really crazy. And just after everything with like the history with Princess Diana, like there's just a lot of question marks. And I think I'm starting to feel a little sketchy until I see a picture of Kate Middleton, a real picture, recent live update of Kate Middleton.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like, if you don't want people to conspire, don't put out weird photoshopped pictures. Like,
yes, because I feel like people before that picture, people were like, "Where's Kate Middleton?" And then that came out, and everyone's like, "Now we think she's dead."
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's like, what the hell is going on? And like the thing is too, like they were taking photos of her walking out of the hospital when she had her babies. Like it was like a whole thing. Meanwhile, there's only photos of William going into the hospital to visit her. But there's no photos of her leaving, which is like always a thing.
Yeah. Ew, this whole thing is really freaky. Lord, please give us a picture of Kate Middleton. That's all we're asking for.
We just need to know where she's at. What state is she in right now? Like,
and you guys can let us know. Yeah, you guys can let us know in the comments any of your conspiracy theories, thoughts, because this is getting out of hand.
Before we wrap up, to bring it back to ACOTAR for a second, did you see the Margot Robbie picture?
Yes.
We glossed over that, I think last week or like 2 weeks ago. I don't even remember when it came out, but it was like her sitting with apparently Sarah J. Maas at like a coffee shop.
I am praying that Margot Robbie is producing A Court of Thorns and Roses.
I mean, it'd be pretty fire.
I just fully try. I know if she is doing it, it'll be good. And I hope it better if it gets released that this is some fucking cheesy ass Netflix show. I want HBO. I want the full Game of Thrones production. Like you give me, I want to feel like I am in Valerius.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I'm also team animated series instead of live action. I think that would be a lot better, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's a lot more money. I think. So, yeah. But I thought about it and I've been seeing so many like beautiful pieces of art of people like drawing the characters and putting them in certain like portions of the book and like everything, and I'm like, this would be so much better if this was just an animated series, and it would feel like be like very not like an anime, but like that kind of vibe where like it's very serious and like animation.
Yeah.
And also just a side thing, I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action. Very cute, very fun. Really enjoyed it. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if you've ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original. No, is that like before? Or
It
after
was
your
like, I
time?
think I like just because I remember it being on, but me not like actively watching it.
Okay. I mean,
Like I've
honestly,
seen it.
I was not a big fan of it as a child. As an adult, I sat down and watched it fully through, like probably like 2 years ago, and I was like, "This is the best thing in the entire freaking world."
No, one, I remember your Avatar kick, and two, I've actually heard that before, that like it gets underappreciated as a kid, and like a lot of stuff goes over your head.
Yeah, well, like, Michael loved it as a child. So when I said that I was, like, never really that into it as a kid, he was like, "You have to watch it, like, just sit down and, like, binge it." We watched it in, like, I don't know, 6 weeks. It was, like, so easy to get through, and it was wonderful and, like, so fun, and the live action actually holds pretty true to the story, and, yeah, but I'm veering way off topic, I'm sorry. We need to wrap it up.
I love you so much. We love all of our listeners so much. If
Yes.
you love us just as much, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to us here at the YouTube channel. If you prefer audio, we are available wherever you get your audio podcasts. And make sure to follow us on social at the unsolicited_podcast for TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and then follow us at Sam and Jordyn on Twitter. We'll be back next week, potentially with a full Wings and Ruin review. So
I'm gonna try and make it happen for you guys. I'm gonna try and make it happen.
hopefully Sam is better at finishing a book than I am at promising to watch a TV show. Because we know I fumbled that bag multiple times.
That needs to be our tagline. That is the most, like, full circle moment I think we've ever had on this show.
No, and it's very true. So we will see. We will come back next week. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.